Слышал о вашей неудаче, слышал. И немало ею огорчен. Чем могу?
Нам нужны документы, еда и оружие.
А с едой все сложно. Все бегут. Всем она нужна.
Смотрите, они грабят аптеку.
Это не наше дело.
Дядь, купи кирпич.
Я убил его.
Вниз!
Стой, тварь! Это же предательство!
Оно самое, юноша. Оно самое.
Hello everyone, welcome to Talking Trailers, where we give our thoughts on some of the newest and hottest video game trailers on the internet. My name is Jason Winter, and this week I'm joined by Mr. Troy Blackburn, the Noob Fridge. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good. Happy to be here, talk some trailers, and check out some stuff that I haven't seen before and some stuff that I have.
Well, that's the idea. We want to get you hyped for things you maybe didn't know about before and can try out for the first time here. So we came in watching a trailer for The War of the Worlds Siberia, which, you know, if you're like me and you first watched this trailer, first of all, this trailer is actually a year old. They did another trailer recently, which I thought was a little more uninteresting. So this is one of those games that, like I said, probably you're not that familiar with right off. So I put it out there to see what you would think of it, see what people would think of it if they never heard of it before, to learn a little bit about it. And if you watch this for the first time, you're like, oh, okay, it's kind of some Russian revolutionary video game where you're going to be a spy or something or other. And then the aliens attack, and you're like, wait, what? Where did that come from? So it's interesting. It's interesting to see how they're going to blend those kind of disparate gameplay elements into each other. Other than that, Troy, I mean, what do you think? What do you think of this?
Well, it definitely caught my attention when I saw it. I was like, ooh, War of the Worlds. And then I was like, Siberia. Okay, let's see what it's about. So checked out the trailer. I guess my biggest concern here is everybody wants to do the Walking Dead thing, right? Where they tell the human story, the humans and the humans, how they get along when the crisis is going on. Daddy don't want that. Daddy wants to run away from some aliens and survive the alien onslaught. That's what I'm looking for. So, you know, if the aliens are a bit of a side character, sort of a background, not really a real threat, there's a couple of segments here and there where there's aliens. I don't know that this one's going to be for me, but if there's lots of alien interaction and trying to survive the alien invasion, I could be all in on this one.
That is going to be the question, how they're going to balance the realistic world of it all, of everything that went on in 1896. So I think that's when it started, with the fantastical elements of the aliens and all that attack. And like you said, you know, it's supposed to be where humans band together, whatever. Well, I don't think the Tsarist forces or whatever are going to be happy with your revolutionary guy, even when the aliens are attacking. You're still going to have, like, it looks like stealth elements, some stabbing and whatnot. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they do this. It comes from, what is the name of the developer? 1C Game Studios. They've done a lot of other, they look like they're a Russian developer, have done a lot of other games in this, a lot of other war-type games. So interesting, bit of a flex for them, I think. So we'll see how this one turns out. Could be interesting. Like I said, could be kind of a disaster too, but it's kind of the risk you take when you're looking at trailers of games you've never heard of before.
Right.
So our next trailer is going to be for something a little more mainstream, a little more understandable, and a little more commonplace. Greedfall, The Dying World. It's a new RPG coming out very soon. Let's take a look.
Welcome to a fantasy world filled with mystery, danger, and political intrigue, where every decision can change the course of your adventure. Welcome to Greedfall, The Dying World. Immerse yourself in this new narrative RPG from Spider Studio. Set 3 years before the events of the first game, a deadly disease, the Malachor, has begun ravaging the old continent of Gacan. alongside the discovery of an island that has attracted everyone's attention, Tir Fredi. You play as a native of this island, an apprentice Donigad, a guardian of knowledge and nature. With your initiation barely complete, your destiny is turned upside down when you are captured by strangers from across the ocean and forced to endure obscure experiments. A prisoner on a diseased continent, you have only one goal: to return home. But your escape plunges you into the heart of a far larger conspiracy, where the fate of your people and that of the entire continent hang in the balance. Lost in an unknown land, you will cross paths with allies ready to join your cause. 8 memorable companions, hailing from all corners of the continent, with their own story, beliefs, and secrets to uncover. But be careful, your actions will determine the strength of your bonds, or the reasons for their departure. Their help will be invaluable for gathering information, opening closed doors, or diffusing tense situations. But sometimes they might just make things worse. Brothers in arms, friends, soulmates, or rivals, their fate is tied to yours and your choices. While cunning or persuasion can get you out of many predicaments, there will be danger along your path. And your teachings as a Donigad have taught you that violence is sometimes unavoidable. Use tactical pause to coordinate your actions and those of your companions to exploit enemy weaknesses and unleash devastating skills. Prefer to stay in the thick of the action? Focus on your character and let your allies act on their own. The choice is yours, thanks to numerous settings that allow you to define your combat experience. Forge your armor, sharpen your blade, summon destructive magic, or crush the skull of any enemy who stands in your way. Ican is vast and beautiful. Freely explore these unique landscapes aboard the Constantia. Uncover their mysteries, discover their treasures, and face the many dangers they hold. Journey through majestic cities, the cradles of factions caught in endless power struggles. Their conflicting interests are as much an opportunity to gain their support as they are a risk of adding powerful nations to your long list of enemies. Numerous obstacles await. It's up to you to decide how to overcome them. Every action taken will shape your reputation and alliances and may lead to happy or dramatic consequences. The adventure begins on March 12th.
All right, that was the trailer for Greedfall, The Dying World, a new RPG coming out from developer Spiders, published by Nacon. We saw a Nacon game a couple weeks ago. This one, like I said, looks like a fairly typical-ish action-adventure RPG. Got kind of elements of, you get the feel of Baldur's Gate with the kind of tactical and the different kinds of characters you can talk to and the relationships you can form, the world you can influence along the way. Troy, I got some things I want to say about this. I found a few little bits about this, but I'm going to let you go first. I'm going to let you give your first, undoubtedly positive attention to it until I sort of burst your bubble and talk about everything else.
Well, if you haven't played the original Greedfall, I think it's a hidden gem. It's not like a perfect RPG where everything is glorious. There's some issues with like enemy variety and things like that, but it's a game that I did enjoy my time in, especially when if you catch it on a sale nowadays. It's definitely worth checking out. So this one immediately had my attention in the Greedfall universe, a bit of a prequel here. So I think I'm going to dive into this one. When you have the name Spiders attached to a video game, it can be a little hit or miss at times. But with the enjoyment I got out of the original Greedfall, I think this one is probably going to be on my playlist.
Okay, well, you said it was the first one was a little clunky, had some issues here and there. This one's actually been out in early access for a while. It's got a 56% review rating on Steam. So it's also got a little bit of that same, maybe that same feeling to it. A lot of the reviews talk about just like clunky gameplay, being a little off or whatever. Not bad for what it does, but if the combat doesn't feel good and it's a game that's going to have a lot of combat, which these all are going to have, that's kind of a bad thing. So, buyer beware, I guess. Look at how it's going to do, how the reviews are going to go. Already they're not great, but it hasn't gotten a lot of reviews. It hasn't been in, it's only got like 500 or something. So hopefully they're going to get more eyeballs on the game. Hopefully get more of it done, out of early access. But that's only going to be in another month. This launches on March 12th, so they haven't got a whole lot of time to fix whatever issues there are. Hopefully they'll figure that out, though.
Probably not. It'll probably launch like it is right now, and they'll have mixed reviews, and it'll be a good be a good pickup on a sale.
Okay. Well, speaking of mixed reviews, our next game is it's one of the most talked about games of the last couple months or so. Let's take a look at the launch trailer first, and then we'll talk about it afterwards. This is Highguard.
Get ready in there. We're coming in. Let's race. Today, my destiny blooms. Reinforcing a wall.
Let's get this job done.
Some loot here. This one's got some bite. Attacking! Dropped an enemy. Smells like you need some upgrades. Enjoy.
Storm brewing. Shieldbreaker forming.
I have the shield breaker. Drawing fire!
This is the fun part! Calling in the siege tower!
Attacking!
Get ready in there!
Hiding in place. Everyone with me, let's go!
Getting this bomb planted.
Let's show them who we are.
All right, that was the launch trailer for Highguard, which came out about a week and a half ago as of this recording. Of course, even more famously, it was the final game, the one last thing at the Game Awards in December, hosted by Jeff Keighley, who apparently just liked the game so much that he wanted to put it at the end of his show. They didn't have a sponsorship, didn't pay a lot of money or anything like that. He just wanted to show it off. And in the intervening, 2 months or so, even before it launched, people were looking at it like, why was this there exactly? Why is this getting all this hype? And the early returns have been not that great. Now, I'll get into the numbers a little bit in a moment. Troy, I'd like to get your impressions if you've looked into this at all.
Well, it's a game, isn't it?
It is definitely one of the games of the year.
And let me be the 11th millionth person to say Highguard is just another way to say Overwatch for starters. They've got horses, they've got mounts. It reminds me a lot of Paladins early on in their development process. You got a little bit of Apex Legends going to the crates, finding the weapons in the crates. You got an upgrade system where you're gathering crystals and going and upgrade your weapons and things. And I don't know, it's a lot of things mixed into one. And it never caught my attention. I have not played it. I'll just be upfront about it. And I have no interest in playing it, really. I've got Marvel Rivals. If I really wanted to play another hero shooter, there's always Overwatch 2 out there. But I'm a Marvel Rivals guy, so that's the one that gets my attention when it comes to hero shooters.
We'll get into that in a moment. There's no Overwatch 2 soon, but we'll get into that later. Now, the big thing that people have been talking about with regards to this game also is the reviews on it. And again, if we go to Steam, the reviews are 45%, and I looked at it earlier today. Now, I was around 20% on day one, so that's better. 45 is still awful, though. But as you say, it's a free-to-play game, and I saw someone write an article, it's a really good take on it, about how if you parse by number of hours in the game, if you put a minimum on there, it gets a lot better. Because it makes sense. A lot of people, free-to-play, they heard about it, they heard the bad news or whatever, the bad hype, played 10 minutes, gave it a bad review, bombed it, whatever. So I said 45% is what all reviews have. And it says now, my notes, I say, if you parse it by 1 or more hours, it's 60%. If you go 2 or more hours, it's 74%. So, I feel like 2 hours is long enough to play a game and get a decent enough feel for it. If you go more than that, 3, 4, 5 hours, then you actually like the game. So it's kind of the reviews would be kind of self-selecting at that point. 2 hours, I think, is enough. 74 is not bad. That's not abysmal. It's not great. It's not a game of the year kind of thing, but at that point, it's got some good qualities going for it, and they've acknowledged what some of it is. They've said that they're changing a lot of things. They just had a major patch go out, I think, yesterday. Now, they're still only managing about 4,000 to 5,000 players on Steam, down from about like 15,000 at the start of the game. So it's got a ways to go. Can it come back from this? Can it actually be the game that everyone thought it would be, or at least that Jeff Keighley thought it would be? I don't know.
The one that Jeff Keighley thought that he played, apparently.
Yeah, apparently so.
He must have played a different game than a lot of other folks who
he's one of those 74%.
At least checked it out for a little bit.
Yeah.
yeah.
But the fact that go ahead.
I was just going to say, do you get a second chance to make a first impression with a game like this, though? It's online, it's persistent. It should go for at least a few months to have a chance to revamp everything. And I have seen some of the reaction from the developers saying that they're going to address issues and try to improve the game. But you've got that initial impression out there. Fair, not fair, who played an hour, who played 10 hours, it doesn't matter. The initial impression out there on the internet is it's not a great game.
Yeah.
Other than Jeff Keighley.
Yeah, it's not great. 74% is decent. It's not great, but is it good enough to pull from other games? That's the question. Like you said, you mentioned games you have to play instead. So, yeah, even at free to play, the time isn't free. You still only have 24 hours in the day. So, yeah, it's a big question. All right, well, let's move on to another game you probably haven't heard of. Not like Highguard, but like some of the earlier stuff we talked about. This is one I just discovered this week, actually, and it's called Kromlech. Let's take a look.
A curse marks my flesh. A blight no worldly cure can heal. I have traveled far to reach the god tree in Derwa, hoping it would rid me of this ever-bleeding wound. If it were only that easy.
Alright, that was a trailer for Kromlech, and admittedly watching that short trailer doesn't give you a whole lot of feel for the game. They did do a longer gameplay trailer. You can find it on the Steam page. That's linked down in the description below. We're showing that off to the side right now so you can get a little idea of at least some of the graphical parts of how that's going to work and so on. They go into a lot more detail. When I first watched the original trailer, I was like, okay, it's hacky slashy, a little sword sorcery, whatever. But then they talk about all the other stuff. They talk about the roguelite elements, how you have 30 days in a cycle, and if you use up your endurance, you have to go to sleep, and that's what gets you to the next day, and so on. Talk about how events can happen that you can deal with them or not, and if you don't, well, it changes the world for this cycle, and you have to do different things or whatever. Stuff carries over, and the whole roguelite aspect of it. That, to me, makes it a lot more interesting, plus the kind of cool historical aspect of it, the authenticity they put into it, supposedly. So, with all that combined, it goes from a random barbarian hacking stuff to I think a much more deep and interesting game. What do you think?
Yeah, this one surprised me. This is probably my biggest surprise out of the group that we're looking at today. The setting initially is what I was like, oh, the setting, the world looks sexy, right? Like this looks like something that Troy could get into and really enjoy. you got to look at the longer gameplay trailer on Steam. The shorter version doesn't do a great job of showing off combat very much. The combat looks a lot better in the longer version of the trailer. So go check that out on Steam. The one that we showed here, the combat just looks boring and a little dull,
exactly.
but it looks a little better whenever you watch the extended trailer. So definitely go check that out if you're interested in this game at all. Some of the roguelike elements, you know, that could make it a little deeper than, like you said, than just a regular hack and slash go out RPG. So this one's on my radar now. I've already wish listed this because this one I want to keep an eye on. I want to see, you know, where it goes, because it grabbed me from the moment I hit play on the trailer. I was like, ooh, okay, I like the way this looks. Let's get more into it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one of the things you talk about in combat is how you can actually smash a bad guy's armor and weaken it and eventually break it and then, you know, chop him through it. So that's an interesting level of gameplay that you have. You don't see in a whole lot of games. So, yeah, definitely pretty cool. Definitely something that I think a lot of people are going to wish list. So next up, we have a trailer for Overwatch, which, you know, you're like, wait, Overwatch, didn't that come out a long time ago? Yeah, it did. It did. And even Overwatch 2 came out a little while ago. And I generally said I don't want to, when I started this show, I said I don't want to do trailers for, you know, existing games for their new patch or whatever, new hero added or whatever. But this one really made a big difference. They're doing a lot in this patch that's coming out just next week. So we'll take a look at the trailer for Overwatch Conquest now.
The world has changed. A new enemy has risen.
The power of Talon, now under my control.
This is a fight we cannot lose.
The war is here.
Let's fight fire with fire. My training is over. Who wants to feel the heat? I do enjoy a hostile takeover.
Time to show them what we're made of. Can't live without me? I'm getting into this.
Anyone can make a difference.
The choice is yours. Resistance is pointless. Talon is everywhere.
Your divine support has arrived. I have landed among the stars. Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
Victory
Will be ours.
Okay, so just like with Kromlech, there's a lot more to the Overwatch Conquest patch coming out next week than is seen just in that trailer. Blizzard did a whole like 40-minute demonstration, dev diary of everything that's going into it, all the stuff that's coming with the next patch. The big thing they're doing is they're putting out 5 new heroes, 5 heroes in one patch, which is almost more than we've gotten. I think they've done 3 per year actually from up to this point. So putting out 5 now, they're going to have 5 more for the rest of the year, 10 new heroes over the new year. They're, as I said before, they're dropping the 2. It is now Overwatch, it's no longer Overwatch 2. But oddly enough, what I'm hearing from my friends and everything is this feels like it actually is Overwatch 2 now. They're adding all this new stuff. They're adding different sub-roles for everything. They've added a lot over the past few years. Of course, what a lot of people said when Overwatch 2 came out, like I said, it's just a patch, just a big patch. It's Overwatch 1.5 or something like that. They didn't do enough to really differentiate it and earn the 2. And now in the previous few years, they've done a lot of that stuff. They've added a new game mode, stuff like Stadium. They've added new heroes at a good cadence. Like when they first said they were going to do it, when they announced that they had their calendar.
Like a roadmap.
Roadmap, that's the word. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, they announced that, and I was like, sure, you've said this before. You said you're going to do stuff before. Is it going to happen? They've kept to that really well. I now have faith they're going to keep to this. We won't talk about how PvE is still never going to be a thing, but whatever. Poor Mike Byrne. I know he still regrets that. But Troy, I know you're not as big into Overwatch. Didn't watch the whole trailer. That's fine. The trailer, the whole like Blizzard thing. But what do you think? Now, you were around when Overwatch 2, when 1 became 2. Do you think now it's finally, there's a chance that original Overwatch fans could forgive Blizzard for how things went and maybe give the game a new try at this point?
Has any company ever got more chances than Blizzard gets?
Good point.
I'm back in World of Warcraft after years and years and years. So I'm one of those two. I think that the saddest thing for me is I look at this and I see them putting this much effort into Overwatch and trying to revamp things and make things more like what players want to be. And I just look back at Heroes of the Storm and I'm like, why not you? Why not you?
You got the little heart, the heart locket here, the Storm, my beloved. Is that what you have? That little meme.
And is that one character's name just Jetpack Cat?
Yes, it is.
That
really
literally
Jetpack
his name?
Cat. That is really the cat. That is really the name of the character. They're leaning into the memes because that was like an original character on like one of the original art pieces when they had like random characters in a big screen on a big thing, and he was one of them. And I was like, when are they going to do that? And I'm like, we're never going to do that. Oh, they did it. They did it.
There it is.
Yeah, that all drops next Tuesday, February 10th. So like in 4 days, one of them is playable now and ran. One of them is available to play right now in a demo fashion. So yeah, I guess if you want to give Overwatch 2 if you want to give Overwatch another chance, that's going to take a while now. If you want to give it another chance, this is the time, or this will be next week. So check it out, I guess. All right, and we got another game to look at now. Let's look at the trailer for ReBlade: The Death Spiral. All right, that was ReBlade: The Death Spiral, which is a game from developer Chili Room, published by Spiral Up Games, coming to PC on Steam at some point. We don't know exactly when. There's no release date on it, but honestly, I think a lot of people are going to be looking forward to it because that was just a cool trailer. I mean, there's no other way to put it other than say that was cool.
Yeah.
The thing that I point to the most of it that I never pay attention to in a game is sound. Like the sound of the metal on metal when she's parrying something was just incredible. Like that practically sold the game for me right there. Troy, how about you?
Yeah, overall, this is the most impressive trailer that we're looking at today for sure. The gameplay elements, the way that you've got obviously different weapon combinations that they show off in the trailer. I was watching, and I was taking it in because it was a gorgeous trailer to look at and to listen to. And then I seen Sword and Board, and I was like, "Oh, hello, Troy. Welcome to the game."
You are the tank man, aren't you?
I am the tank man.
Yeah, like
Either a big giant hammer or a sword and board. Daddy's in.
not just the hammer. The hammer she like pulls off the bad guy and then whacks him with it. So
yeah, the hammer where she pulls off his arm and just smacks him with it. That's fantastic.
Yeah, my God. I mean, this looks like it could be a real sleeper hit. I think if it hits all if it hits all the right notes.
I think this one is probably going to be a pretty big deal once it comes out.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, that is our show for today, just about. We got a little bit more to show you in a bit, but we are going to sign off right now. Troy, it was great having you. I hope you'll be back again sometime. Hope you enjoyed it.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
All right, and I hope everyone else out there enjoyed the show as well. Please give us a like and subscribe so you'll always know when the next episode is posted. And you can find our socials on the screen, just to the side right now if you'd like to follow us individually. We've got one more trailer to show you on the way out of the box. If you're looking for another... out of the box? Out of the door. What am I saying? If you're looking for another team-based zombie shooter in your life, we've got John Carpenter's Toxic Commando, which launches March 12th on all major platforms, and has a demo coming up very soon on February 19th. So until next time, stay safe and play hard.
Welcome to John Carpenter's Toxic Commando, the newest co-op zombie shooter launching March 12, 2026. Today, you'll be getting the rundown on missions, progressions, and a whole lot more about the game. Strap in. It's time to fucking go commando. Toxic Commando is a 4-player co-op action survival game where the world's going to hell and mutants are everywhere.
Oh man, I'm in trouble.
Get your crew together and play as Walter, Kato, Ruby, and Astrid, a bunch of criminals hired to clean up this mess and maybe save humanity while they're at it. You'll blast through multiple missions, each in a semi-open world packed with zombie heads to blow off. Get ready to face hordes of those sludge bastards.
Fuck off over there!
Saber Interactive Swarm technology throws hundreds upon hundreds of real enemies at you simultaneously. We're talking endless waves of zombies running straight at your face. Adapt fast, work with your team, or just grab a machete and charge into the horde like the maniac you are. In Toxic Commando, every mission starts with a badass vehicle, and you'll need it to navigate these infected hellscapes. Each has its perks. Stuck in blood and guts-filled mud with more zombies closing in? Jack a ride with a winch to pull yourselves free, and crack open locked containers loaded with ammo, weapons, spare parts, and fuel. Teams bleeding out? An ambulance is your savior and heals everyone. Check your map for available rides and switch whenever you find something better. We've got all the toys you'll need to blast these monsters back to hell. Pick your primary from 16 weapon types. Shotguns, SMGs, sniper rifles, you name it.
Reloading.
Secondary weapons like pistols back you up when you're running dry. When you're looking for brutal, bloody takedowns, melee weapons are your friends. Machetes, crowbars, all kinds of good shit.
Now this is action!
The really devastating gear like heavy machine guns and grenade launchers are hidden in missions. Explore and exchange spare parts to unlock them.
Finders, takers.
That's what we need.
Choose a kick-ass ability for even more blood and explosions. Dominate in your own style by choosing among 4 unique classes. Strike for aggressive mayhem. Medic to keep everyone breathing. Operator for drone warfare and tech.
Getting my drone loose.
Or Defender to be an unstoppable wall.
Fence is activated.
Stack your squad however you want. Run 4 strikes if that's your vibe. This game is built from the ground up for 4-player chaos. Use matchmaking or grab your friends in a private lobby. With crossplay, anyone can join from any platform. One last piece of advice, if you want to play Lone Wolf, you'll get swarmed fast. So rally your team, gear the hell up, and get ready for non-stop co-op zombie destruction. Mark your calendars. March 12, 2026 is Commando time.